be going live any second now. I think we're going. It says we are. We'll see some people watching in a second. And I'm just going to wait several seconds before we get talking.
Okay.
Just to make sure we're live. Looks like we are. Hello, everyone. If you're in or if you're watching the live stream, feel free to post in the chat. It's always really fun to see where people are watching from, especially. So let us know in the chat if you're here, if you can hear us, if you can see us, and where you're watching from. I'm going to wait just a minute. Also, there is a link to our Slack community in the description if anyone is interested in staying connected afterwards and introducing yourself there. That's a really good place to do that. Cool. I see someone watching from India. Hello, welcome.
Awesome.
Cool. So I'll go ahead and get started. I'm sure we'll have more people join in a little bit. My name is Sage Elliott. I'll be the host for today's Robust and Responsible AI event. We're a community of AI and machine learning practitioners, researchers, designers, and much more. You can think of this event kind of as a live podcast. I'll be interviewing guests and starting with specific topics. And then we should have time for questions at the end. But I encourage you to post in the chat throughout the conversations and connect with each other on Slack afterwards. Like I was saying, you can connect to that Slack channel. Everything we talk about, or hopefully most of the things we talk about, the links are in the description. And if you'd like to come on for an event in the future, let me know in Slack or on LinkedIn, or there's also a talk request form in the description. And today we have a guest I'm really excited to talk to. Veselina, do you want to introduce yourself and dive a little bit into your background?
Hey, everyone. Amazing, Sage. You managed to say my name exactly right without me even saying it. So thank you for that. You are one of the first people to do that. So yeah, I'm Veselina, but I'm mostly known as Vesi. I'm working at a product company called CloudStrap, and currently I'm managing our newest product called TeachableHub. It's a platform for deploying machine learning in production, specifically targeting product teams, and I'm handling the product and customer development of our newest product. Before that, I have some background in e-commerce, actually, which was kind of weird for a person who is working in this field, machine learning and MLOps, but it was actually very helpful. So I did manage 7 Amazon stores, plus a WordPress store, plus a little bit of Etsy. So I know a lot of platforms. Before that, I used to work in big organizations such as GTT, managing infrastructure projects, and managed printing services at HP Inc. And yeah, a lot of useful experience, very diverse one that is helping me currently be very open for everything new that is coming my way and trying to understand better the problems in the machine learning field and translate them to our team who is building an amazing product that would be solving those. So that's just in short, but if you have any questions or you want to learn more about what we do, you are always open to ask or just contact me via LinkedIn.
Which I think I think the link to your LinkedIn is in the description below as well. And that's awesome. And I always find that most people I talk to, myself included, have quite a diverse background. Most people didn't just happen to go straight into machine learning and MLOps. We all found ourselves here through some journey.
Yeah. Well, I have this joke that I used to sell mattresses, and now I'm in machine learning, and people are like, "What?" But it's a life, and sometimes it happens this way, and yeah, it's okay, I guess.
I wouldn't have it any other way. So today's topic that we're going to start with is kind of the challenges of machine learning deployment, and maybe as a kind of at a high level for those who might not know. Probably a lot of people here already know, but at a high level, could you kind of explain what machine learning deployment is before we jump into some of the challenges with it?
Okay. Well, I will give the explanation that is for people that are not really technical. So basically, deployment is the moment where you have a machine learning model trained. It's good to go, as you can say. And deployment is the part of the process where you get your model um, to the production environment, and it starts serving to your end users, whatever those are. It might be internal users or external users. It could be built, the model could be in an application or a web application or a mobile application, doesn't matter. But this is the moment where it goes live. And the process is difficult because it involves a lot of moving parts. And it's, as I said, the word process, this is a keyword that is very important for people to understand. It's not just a task, and some people are treating it as so, like a one-off thing that you do today. You get the model, then deploy it, and then it's live, and that's it. It's not actually that. It's a process. It involves many people as well doing different things, having a very various experience. It's not just MLOps experience with infrastructure scaling and other difficult things, but also understanding about the business and what you are aiming to do in the end and what value you want to serve to your end users. So I kind of included a little bit technical stuff, but that's in short for me.
Yeah, if only it was as simple as you had a model and then you just post it somewhere.
Yeah, this is the simplest explanation I can give.
No, that's a great explanation. So what are some of the, you're working in a field, building a product to basically streamline this process. What are some of the biggest challenges you've kind of seen with ML deployments, and how are you trying to make that easier for people?
Okay, yeah, you know this line, this number, it's actually a marketing number, like 90% of the models never get to production, or 87 or whatever. So it's kind of started there for us. And this was something that I read like everywhere. And I was like, okay, it's a very, very big number. There must be something very difficult behind that number if it's so big. And in the end, it became apparent that it's not just technical issues, but there is like it's just the technical issues are just the tip of the iceberg. It's not just learning this multitude of technologies, like learning to work with Docker and Kubernetes and everything else that is along the pipeline. It's a lot more. And actually, one of the biggest challenges that many of the people we speak with is not technical, it's organizational. And it's about how you structure your work in your team to deliver these results and to deliver them in a time that makes sense and not in 2 years or a period that would your management would not be happy about. Because in the end, when you're doing some machine learning or building a machine learning product, you are doing it because you want to solve a problem for the end user. And this problem needs to be solved in a way that we will return the investment for the person who is paying for this entire endeavor with machine learning. So if it's not doing that, then probably the whole thing will stop at some point. And if you are not able to iterate and to test your machine learning products in a short time of span, then probably you're not doing it in a very practical and optimal way. And this is one of the biggest challenges. How do you start doing machine learning in a way that you can iterate like every day or in a week or in a couple of weeks, which means that you need to go through the entire machine learning process in this short time span. And this means that you have all these moving parts that I mentioned in the beginning lined up, all these people knowing exactly what they need to do. And this actually means standardization, which is not there yet, as everyone is saying. So this is, in simple words, what is difficult. And if I have to go more deeper about this stuff, it's just not there yet because it's not mature enough. But the more people are sharing and talking about MLOps and how you get machine learning in production, the more closer we are getting there. And I really believe that everyone who is currently doing machine learning in production have the obligation to start sharing in some form their experience in order for the community to thrive and to get there faster, to get to this standard stack faster for everyone, because everyone would benefit from that. And this is why I really applaud and enjoy initiatives like yours and the community that you are making. It's really helpful for making this change faster.
Awesome. Thank you. And yeah, as another quick plug, if anyone wants to come on and share their experience, let me know. Yeah, I think all those things you mentioned are interesting, and there's so many different types of challenges in the deployment process. But like you said, a big part of it is making sure that I think I'm not sure if you worded it this way, but kind of like the business value is really big, and being able to quickly iterate on your models is very important in a lot of applications. If you can't quickly deploy, see how it's performing, and then potentially store that data that you're running predictions on, and then relabel it and retrain your model, you're going to move a lot slower than some other people that have a really clean, streamlined pipeline that allows for that quick iteration and then deployment and then monitoring.
Yeah, and this is something that most small companies and small teams are just not able to afford. It's just a too big barrier for entry at this stage, and it shouldn't be like that. It's something that every technology, every tech company should be able to enter this field in some way, because I believe this is the future, and every application will be working with machine learning at some form. And currently, it's not really happening, and most of the machine learning projects, they actually died before they are born or before they are deployed. And it's sad because they're solving or trying to solve very important problems, and the words that you say, like deploy, is just one word, but behind it there is so much. And see how it's performing, this is also just a few words, but behind this, see how it's performing, there is such a complex process that, like, if deployment is hard and many companies are not able to deploy, like 10 times more companies are not able to see how it's performing or have no way of visualizing how their machine learning is performing, even though they are in production, which is actually something to think about, because you got there, you deployed your models, but is it actually doing what you want it to do? And how do you understand if it's doing that? Then the other part, if it's not doing what you want to do, how do you retrain it? And behind retraining, there is also so much steps that you need to do and so many systems that you need to integrate together in order to be able to create this workflow that would allow you to get the best version of your model to production and to improve it on, okay, let's not say yet daily basis, but let's say weekly basis, because machine learning is working with data and data is changing constantly. And this is one of the biggest differences when it comes to how you treat machine learning and how you treat standard software. So you need to constantly improve your machine learning models, and to improve them, you need to monitor them. And before that, you need to be able to redeploy constantly and not just do this like every 3 months or once a year or just once in a lifetime. And you'd be surprised, from the hundreds of people I've spoken with, there are so many that just deployed one model and it's in production. They did it. And it's like that from a year or two. It's just doing what it's doing.
It's depending on the application, that can be kind of scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like you're saying, data changes all the time in the real world. So if you're not monitoring for things like data drift or model concept drift, you know, I don't know what. It depends on what the application's doing, but it's like it's scary because you're probably not going to be making the right prediction. So if that has like an effect on anyone's life or anything like that, and you're not monitoring, it's not a robust or responsible AI.
Yeah, it's very difficult currently to give proofs and justification to the business if the machine learning that they invested so much in is working properly, and the management is very difficult to approve different tools that can help this process, because they just don't understand why they should do that, how it will improve their process, how much they will save. These metrics are also part of the challenges that the people who are responsible for deployment and for productionizing machine learning face. They just don't have the right tools to sell the tools and solutions that can help them. It's just like I cannot give a good example, but the level of understanding of the people that approve this stuff is not there yet, and the people that are understanding the things, they are not having a good enough level of selling things to management. So this is another non-technical challenge that that many teams are facing and many companies are facing.
Yeah, I like that you're making it easier to deploy it. Even as even in non-business settings, like I know when I was learning a lot about machine learning, it's almost easy to train a model right in a Jupyter notebook, but it felt really hard to get it out somewhere and start making predictions, let alone doing all the other things like measuring and retraining.
Yeah,
Um,
and actually there are so many tools that are claiming that are helping with things, but actually most of the teams, they just don't have the time and capacity to test them out. It's just that they don't have resources. They have so many things on their plates. Usually people that are working on machine learning models are kind of full stack. This is the majority of the teams that are currently building some kind of machine learning products, and they have very, very little time for experimenting with solutions. And when they have something that works for the time being, they just use that, and it doesn't matter if it's optimal or not, if it's easy or not.
cool. And I think we touched on this maybe a little bit, but what are some of the common mistakes people make when deploying their ML models? I think we already kind of touched maybe on some of the common or difficulties, but maybe we could go over them a little bit again.
Well, one of the things that I see is that there is this gap between the people who make the model and the people that deploy it. Usually, if you have two people that do this, or two teams that are separated with these responsibilities, is nice. And there is this separation between them, and they don't really work together or sit in the same place, which creates a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of human errors. On the other side, if you have just one person that is doing this, probably he will be like not that experienced, and will be having a lot of challenges with the more technical stuff that require years of experience with infrastructure, with scaling, with reliability, authentication, so many things that you need to do. And this means that he will probably do a lot of compromises when he builds his proof of concept or whatever he's building. And another thing that we commonly see is the lack of person who leads the project and communicates with other parties, like not just the machine learning team, but let's say the team that is working on the software part, the back end, the front end, because basically this model needs to go somewhere. And excuse me, and when it's created, it's ready to be put in the application. This other team, they probably won't have any machine learning experience and they need to have a good understanding about what they're putting in the application. And if there is no good communication between these different parts, usually the result is not very good. So this is another thing that we see, and it's very difficult to set up a process that works for all those teams in a good way, and it saves time. There is so much repetition of errors due to that, and a lot of lost time, a lot of lost money, of course, on different resources, because most companies are not able to standardize the process and introduce some kind of workflow that would give them results quickly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just like with the most things, communication is key.
Yeah, well, the most successful teams that we speak, the ones that are deploying faster and getting faster to productions, are usually teams that have a product person or some kind of a leader in the team. It could be even a machine learning engineer, but he's also tasked with the thing that he needs to oversee the entire project on a high level, not only be on the details. So this is key for success.
Yeah, and I think that kind of maybe ties a little bit into the next question we were going to ask is how to grow a product mindset in MLOps. So a lot of the times that's making sure everything is tied together correctly and that you get the business value there.
Yeah, well, this is how to say, there are some people that like to work on the details, and there are some people that like to work on the high level. It's very difficult to switch between those two on a daily basis. So when you hire people, I would suggest that it would be good, if you're just starting with 1 or 2 people, to hire some person that is not only focused on the detail, but also have this high level thinking about the entire picture, and be aware of everything that is around them, the people that would be involved in the process, the management, the business. There are so many people working on the details that they just don't really care about the business value that much. They care about the science, they care about the engineering, which is okay, and it's actually very good in bigger organization, in bigger teams, where you have a lot of people. They are specializing on separate tasks, and they tie really well together. But when you're just starting out such project that is, there are no standards and there are just a few people that have to do everything, it's good to be understandable about others, what they do, how they're doing it. So one thing would be curiosity. So always be curious about your environment, the business, your teammates. Another thing that I think is very helpful is be aware of your blind spots. And this is something very difficult, but I think it's very helpful for product people, just not to try to understand and know everything, but just know that you don't know everything, and be aware of your weaknesses. Even if you're not a product person, if you're a data science guy, just know your blind spots. Know that there are some things that you're not aware of. They're there. You don't need to learn everything, but you need to know that they're there, and you can ask some people about how you can do stuff and try to find a solution. And that would be the third thing. Just ask people, ask why constantly, try to understand.
I love it. Yeah, asking why is great.
Yeah, there is even a book called Start with Why that is very helpful on the topic.
Is that a Simon Sinek book, or am I mixing
I think
up?
so.
I think it is. I think I read it a long time ago. That the title stands out to me. I don't remember for sure, but I think it might be. Which, if it was that book, I remember it being pretty good.
Yeah, well, it sounds, most of these things sounds a bit cliche, but they are cliches because they work and they make sense in the long run.
Yeah. Do you have any tips on finding your blind spot or blind spots? Kind of keeping aware, like you said, know that they're there. I can think of like clearly there's things I don't know, but I wonder if you have any really good tips of how to discover those.
I have one thing that I read recently, and I actually have not mastered yet. But when you enter a discussion and when you have one opinion about something, it doesn't matter if it's deployment or some daily tasks that you're doing. Just you go and you say blah blah blah. I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and then one person that's sitting next to you is saying, I do not agree with that, blah 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 blah, and he starts to explain something that he just not does not agree with you and has another opinion. And usually what happens is that you go into defense mode and you try to argue your points, like why you are right about your opinion and decision. And actually the thing that you should do is just stop and just start asking questions without defending yourself, without arguing, without trying to prove that you are right, but just trying to get to see what this other person is seeing, because apparently this person is seeing something that you're not seeing. And if you don't ask the questions, you would never be able to understand what he's seeing. And this is actually key in this process, and it's preventing you from making many mistakes because it gives you everything that's outside of your span. In every situation, it doesn't matter if it's work or anything else, but it's very hard because there is a lot of ego and you have to like swallow it and just totally strip away.
It's easy to, like you said, sometimes you get defensive automatically. But yeah, if you can kind of slow down and take the time to understand, why does this person, think about it this way, and take the time to learn from them. That's a great piece of advice, I think, in a lot of, not just MLOps, but probably a lot of areas in life.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, it's something I'm trying to master and just be able to ask questions and don't defend myself in any situation.
That's really cool. So what are some technologies that you're currently really excited about? Maybe it's something that is kind of in the AI field that, is hot at the moment and maybe isn't super useful, but you're really excited to see where it goes. Or it could be something incredibly practical and you're like, this is the thing I really like for data pipelines.
Well, I actually like things that are automating my daily life. So I love things that are related with IoT and like simple things that you can remove from your everyday life. So machine learning and in devices is something that I'm really excited about. I'm not really experienced with it, but it's something that I wait to see how it will further develop and how we can be able to use it in our everyday life to just remove like tasks that we don't like to do on a daily basis and free time for more important things. And the other thing, of course, is AI and machine learning in healthcare, because I think that this is a core area where it really can bring a lot of value. I have a few people that I've spoken with that are doing amazing things with that. There is one company that is doing image recognition for body scans, and they are actually finding cancer like breast cancer in a very early stage, which helps cure it, and it's just a game changer in this area, I think.
Yeah, the healthcare field I also find incredibly exciting, and I'm so excited to see where it goes because I feel like we're early in the stages, right? Like there's a lot of research, a lot of models being built, and kind of like talking. A lot of those models, as far as I know, aren't necessarily deployed yet in places, and there's a lot of steps, which is good. in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, like having the, FDA and people where you have to be, very very thoughtful about your models and actually measure them. So like we were saying, right, like at the beginning we were saying there's use cases where people just trained a model and then put it out there and and that's it.
Those
You
are not
definitely
those
you
cases.
definitely cannot do it in healthcare.
Yeah, yeah.
Going back real quick to the IoT and automating tasks. Do you have one task in particular that you would want to automate away?
Well, not doing dishes would be something easy to say, but something that I really hate doing apart from doing dishes. Yeah, maybe
No,
something that would turn off like all the things that I have on in my place, like even the things that are plugged because they also draw electricity, like something that completely turns off everything once I get out because I often forget some things on, which is not really nice. So once I just lock the door, everything turns off or something like that. It would be very helpful for a person like me.
yeah, that would be nice. And there's some stuff that does that with like lights and some outlets, but because
Yeah,
I sometimes think like, oh, did I leave the stove on or something like that? And it'd be nice to be like, nope,
yeah,
my robot took care of it. My
yeah.
house is great when I leave.
Yeah, I had the same case. I was coming home and I saw from the balcony like fog of things burning that I forgot. So it's not nice.
All right, so let's dive a little deeper, maybe real quick. I know we're already at 30 minutes. Hopefully, you still have several minutes to be on.
Sure, sure.
Tell us a little bit more about what you're currently working on at TeachableHub. I know it's came up a couple of times in the conversation, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about why you built it and the problems it's specifically solving.
Okay. It's actually, as I mentioned, focusing on product teams because we have a lot of background in experience with building products and applications. And we actually found a very big difference between the people who are building machine learning for internal optimization and the people who are building machine learning as a core feature for their products. And we actually thought that we can bring the most value to the second ones because for them it's really important to have these processes, the speed of iteration, this constant improvement, because usually such products are used by many end users, and in comparison the optimization machine learning is also very important, but usually it's used by hundreds of users. It's something that does not have to scale that much in the most cases. So you can actually deploy such models in not very optimized way, if I can say it like that. And when you are building a product and when machine learning is core, this means that your entire business is dependent on that. And this means that your entire business is dependent on the tools and the solutions that you'll be using, on the infrastructure that you will be deploying your models, on how you have managed that infrastructure, how you have integrated every part of the solution. If your model is giving the right prediction, if you have to retrain it, then how do you redeploy it, the versioning and everything. If you're, of course, doing some business that you would like to further develop, in the early stages, it might not be that important because everyone starts somewhere. Startups are known to do things fast in a dirty manner, but in the long run you have to invest in that in order to be successful and to scale your business. And this is where our team would like to help other companies and make it easier for them to focus on their business and not on scaling the solutions they have to support their machine learning, which is actually very, very time consuming, requires a lot of resources or a lot of know-how about many different disciplines that are not close to data science, like DevOps, like infrastructure, cloud technologies, and everything around that. So we are trying to simplify this process, give the people that are working on such projects a solution that would allow them to iterate very fast, to bring the entire team together, not just the data science and machine learning engineers, but everyone that is working on the product in the same place, speaking the same language, and give them the features and the tools to make their magic in a very simple and fast way.
That's awesome. That sounds great.
Thank you.
Do
I
you
have been repeating this a lot, so
do you have a sometimes it'd be hard to pick one feature, but do you have like one feature in mind that is like one of your favorite things in the
yeah,
product?
yeah, we have this this feature called PredictMan, which is something like the Postman, and we called it PredictMan. So you can, yeah, you can put your predictions, and you can see things there, and there is a lot of nice things in this feature, which actually show you in human language what actually the prediction means. Like, for example, most data science guys, they know all the features in the model, what they mean, but usually they are named with some kind of codes, numbers, letters, or whatever. And for the normal human being, you just don't know what this means. And we have this UI feature which translates everything into a language that, like, for example, with the diabetes set, you have a lot of things that are numbered, and then we have this thing that translated blood pressure, blah, blah, something that you can understand. And for the software engineers and for the other people that will be working with this model, this is important because they know what exactly this means, and they don't have to go and ask the data science who did that. They don't have to read through a lot of documentation and understand what the model is doing and what might be wrong.
That's really cool. And that is a really cool feature, especially like if someone's coming in that isn't necessarily a hands-on machine learning engineer, or even if you are, it's like sometimes kind of hard to keep up with what everything means in your model.
Yeah, and you have hundreds of features in some models. It's difficult even for data scientists.
Real quick before we kind of wrap up, I want to ask if anyone in the audience has any specific questions, especially if it comes to TeachableHub or anything else we talked about. Also, just noting again that links to everything is in the description. So if you're watching this, I believe there's a link to TeachableHub, and you can sign up for early access, I think.
Yep, you can sign for
I'm
early
gonna go do
access
after
or
this.
for a demo. Awesome. We'll be very happy to show you the product and to hear your feedback after you play around with it.
Yeah, I'm always happy to hop in and try a product and provide feedback for sure. And then in the future, like I think we were talking before, we can come in and do hopefully like a workshop or a presentation type event showcasing more of the product, which would be awesome.
Yep, definitely. If any of the listeners would like to see that, I would be happy to see that in the comments below.
Yeah, and and the links are in the description. So if you do want to try out TeachableHub, click on one of those links, or I think they can also connect with you, Vesi,
Yep.
and message you. I think, right?
Yeah, you can always contact me via LinkedIn. I'm always happy to grab a cup of coffee and discuss things, organize a workshop or a demo, or just talk about MLOps or whatever. It's always a pleasure to speak with people that are doing amazing things with machine learning.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any other questions rolling in right now, and I know we're definitely a little over the time that we scheduled. So I'm going to start wrapping things up. If a question comes in, maybe we can answer it. But just want to say thank you so much again, Vesi, for coming in and talking to the robust and responsible AI community. I'm really excited to, try TeachableHub, and it was just great hearing about your experience and all the challenges in machine learning deployments and how you're making it easier and how you think about it, which is awesome to talk to you.
Thank you, Sage, for inviting me. It was a pleasure for me, and I wish you good luck with the community. And I will be watching closely how it's going and taking part in the conversation in Slack, because it's amazing.
Thank you so much. Someone did ask a question. They said, "Where are you for coffee?" But I'm assuming you mean a virtual coffee right now.
Uh,
Maybe,
any
maybe not.
platform that you like, but if you're coming around Sofia, Bulgaria, I would be happy to have a coffee in person as well.
I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast for everyone. Thank you again for attending. And again, links to everything in the description. And I'd love to see you in our Slack channel and talk to you more there. There's a great introduce yourself channel. It's always really cool to see, people's backgrounds, where they're from, and how we can all help each other build robust and responsible AI. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.